does it feel to be in the atrium again?
Yeah.
Do you remember the days you were in the atrium? Mr. Ross was over here.
Free day, free day.
You remember the free days?
Oh, yeah.
Why did we stop that? Did we stop that sometime in the 80s?
Why?
That's about it.
85?
Man, you free day. Start a revolution.
No, that was great for the kids. Faculty hated it. And we often talk about free day. Kids, there was a time when all the students would come into the assembly and the headmaster at that time, now called head of school, would walk out and he'd act like he was going to give a stern lecture. And instead he would say, it's a free day. And everybody would cheer. And what it meant was, for those folks, that they could go anywhere and do anything on the campus all day long as long as it didn't go off.
It was the
And the faculty were expected to supervise and know where everybody was. Mr. Rawson, you better be where you're supposed to be. So then I think the faculty got together one year. But I have been told, and I've heard, that Dr. Ottenwaller is thinking about bringing the free day back. Well, I'm just warning you, current faculty. All right. I don't have the advantage of a mic now, so I'm going to have to speak really loud. But it's so good to have you back down in such familiar turf, right here in the atrium. This is our golden dome, right here. And so much takes place here. And nobody gets in or out of this school without going through the atrium, okay? We even have an alumni Facebook page, and what do we call it? We call it Inside the Atrium. Some of you follow us on it, and we'll be posting stuff about this reunion on Monday for that. But each year at final assembly, and you guys remember final assembly, that's where you get your certificate of distinction, the last assembly in the year, and then the next day we have commencement and graduation. Well, for the last, well, not 6 years, the COVID years, prior to that, during that time, at the end of that assembly, we always make an alumni award presentation. And we planned to do that this year at the final assembly. However, the winner and the recipient of the alumni award could not be here for final assembly because we're going to be out of the country. But, however, it just so happens that the alumni award winner is here today. So, in that the alumni award winner is here today, we're going to announce and present the alumni award winner to that person. Now, students kind of knew we were going to pass out the alumni, or announce the alumni award today in faculty day. But alumni, you had no clue, okay? And it's neat that we will recognize and announce this alumni award winner in front of so many alumni, so many classmates. So, I will begin. Dr. Michelle Thompson, a member of the Stanley Clark School class of 1985 and the parent of 2 Clark alums, helped present this award today. Michelle has served on the Clark Board of Trustees and is currently the president of the Alumni Council. The Alumni Award is awarded to an alumna or alumnus whose personal and professional accomplishments have positively affected society. This year, the Alumni Award is being presented to Tasha Alexander. Tasha is a New York Times best-selling author and a graduate of the Stanley Clark School, class of 1984. After Clark, she graduated from St. Joe High School and then from the University of Notre Dame, where she studied English literature and medieval history. She is the daughter of 2 philosophy professors, one of which is here today, okay, and grew up surrounded by books. Tasha tells us at an early age, she was convinced she was born in the wrong century. She spent much of her childhood under the dining room table, pretending it was a covered wagon. Even there, she was always with a book, and she loved reading and history more than anything. And writing, of course, is a natural result of love of reading. She is the New York Times best-selling author of the long-running historical mystery fiction, the Lady Emily series, and the novel Elizabeth, the Golden Age. Her Lady Emily series is set between the 1890s and the 1900s and spans cities throughout Europe. She has written over 20 books since 2005, and her latest book in the series will be released this September. You can find her books on Amazon and other major booksellers, and of course the public library. She says one of the best parts of being an author is seeing your books translated into other languages. Tasha's work has been translated into more than a dozen languages. As a writer, she has a reputation for being extremely careful about accuracy, and in her novels and meticulous about the research she does. She has been nominated for the Bruce Alexander Award and the RT Reviewer's Choice Award. Now, here's a little bit about Tasha when she was a student here. At the annual final assembly that concludes the school year, we give each student a certificate of distinction. So everybody, every student, and every alum sitting here today has received a certificate of distinction. You all remember that, right? Okay. And we do that at the final segment. Well, when Tasha was a student here, we read the students' certificates. We don't do that anymore because we're trying to save time in the assembly. We used to read every student's certificate of distinction, and it was great. As they crossed the stage in the rack, I happen to have Tasha's certificate of distinction. And it reads as follows. This is her 8th grade year. For outstanding achievement in U.S. history and English. Surprising. For excellence in algebra, science, French, art, and on the yearbook stand. For an outstanding term paper. And term papers back then were 20-page term papers. For earning a monogram in volleyball. And for achieving high honors throughout her 8 years in the Stanley Clark School. And for winning the Good Citizenship Medal of the Schuyler Colfax Chapter Daughters of the American Revolution. And at commencement the very next day, she won the Citizenship Prize. Oh, and did I mention she's Iroquois? Tasha lives in Wyoming with her husband, Andrew Grant, who's here. And he's also an author and a British novelist. She says her husband makes sure she gets her English characters right, and she makes sure the American ones sound American. So, on behalf of the Stanley Clark School and the Alumni Council, it is my great honor and pleasure to present this year's Alumni Award to Tasha Alexander, class of 1984, with the Alumni Award. Congratulations, Tasha.
honor. It really, really, truly is. And you know, I think all of us who've been here for school know how special it is. But also that, you know, let's have real talk. Middle school is hard. I spend a lot of time crying in the bathroom. So, it gets better, I promise. But you know, this is such a supportive environment, and you know, I don't know. I think everybody feels like their own class is the best class, and I'm sorry to say they're all wrong because our class. But you know, you've got great teachers who just make such a difference in your life, and I know I would not be standing here right now. I wouldn't have the career I have now if I hadn't had the support of some of the amazing, amazing teachers that I had here at Clark. We all miss them. So thank you again. I'm just so humbled and blown away. I really appreciate it.
All right, so to not get in the traffic jam here, we would like the alums to depart first to the rack for lunch, and then the students that vacate the rack, you want to come back and get pictures of the steps and all that